Thought it'd be super valuable to conduct a video that comprehensively covers the process of chatting within OnlyFans management. Now, you have two options. You can pick whichever poison suits your business. Option one being hiring your own team. The pain points here are that you are going to have to go through the lengthy, time-consuming process of hiring, training, managing, paying, firing, rehiring your own team. This is extremely time-consuming, a huge admin headache, and in many cases, not even any cheaper than the alternative. Option two is to outsource to a chatting team, like TDM, for example, that can sometimes be more expensive depending on your current setup, but the key pain points here are that you're going to have to put trust in somebody else's way of doing things. This, for some people, is a complete relief, and that's the selling point because they can forget about chatting and focus on the marketing and the recruitment and grow horizontally. But for others that are more micromanaging in the way that they run their business, this can be a nightmare because you have to put trust in somebody else's emotional intelligence, which is really difficult to do for certain business owners. So if you've decided that you are going to use a chat service, of course the process is super simple. Pick whichever one you think is the best and give it a whirl. If you, however, want to build your own team, this is of course a little bit more complex, and that's what the rest of this video is going to be detailing how to do. Now, firstly, actually need the team. I don't know how many people come to me saying, hey Liam, I need chatters. Well, okay, cool. How many creators do you have? Oh, none. I'm just planning. Okay, well, focus on getting some creators through the door first, then consider what you need to do from a chatting perspective. So once you've got a couple of creators on board, you've started driving a little bit of traffic, or the creator organically has some traffic incoming, scope out what you need, because each creator will need a slightly different variant of chatting, depending on the niche, the target audience, the way she presents herself, where she's from, what language she speaks, the kind of dialect and the way that she conducts herself. If you've got a British chav versus a mature vintage lady, it's going to be an extremely different way of chatting, right? Even though it's English, OnlyFans girls, it's a very different way of doing things. So scope out exactly what you need and search for chatters that align with that. Once you know what you need, you can start the hiring process. Head out into the marketplace and see what you can find. We recommend hiring physical staff. You can outsource to cheap countries. I know a lot of people like Eastern Europe, Africa, Asia. For me, it doesn't make sense unless you have creators in those regions. If you've got English-speaking creators, I would always recommend going for a native English speaker. It's more authentic, it helps a better bond with the audience, and in my opinion, you get an ROI on that as well. Ensure that they're trustworthy, ensure that they're hardworking and capable of running the hours that you need them to, and ensure that they have the right skill sets. As a chatter, you need to be emotionally intelligent, you need to be good at sales, and you need to be capable of completing monotonous tasks, because chatting is something that can become very, very repetitive. So if you've got somebody who's easily distracted or has a short attention span, they likely will struggle with this role. We actually recommend that you hire individuals that are willing to work for free. Reason being, it will showcase their willingness to work hard, and also that they're there for the right reasons. They're there because they want to be a part of your team, not just because they're here for some quick cash. Now, one of the reasons why this is super important is because ultimately with any chat team, you should be striving to achieve teamwork. This is the difference between chat teams that are successful and chat teams that aren't. Handovers of accounts from shift to shift, information sharing around customers and strategy with certain creators, and a motivational, good place of work. If they are in a team environment where they feel welcome, in a workplace or at least virtual working environment where they feel as though they have community, these are the kind of things that will constitute a happy relationship in the workplace between your team, but also a motivation and willingness to work hard when on shift. This also wraps around to the importance of having a good management system. So using CRMs and tracking KPIs, it's important that if you have something like Inflow at your disposal, you understand how to use it, because we've caught people tracking performance based on a golden ratio exclusively, or how much money they make exclusively, or what unlock ratio they have exclusively. But all of this is contextual. And as a manager or somebody who's auditing your chat team, you are observing their ability to manage the account entirely. So not just how much can they make, but how well can they maintain relationships? How high can they keep renew rate? How long can they have customers subscribed for? How well can they represent the creator? How safe can they keep the account relative to the TOS? How efficient are they at managing a multitude of accounts if they have the capability to do so? How quick are their response times? How active are they when they're at work? All of these things are important, and you should understand the value of having a comprehensive audit of all of these metrics for all of your team at all times of the day. With this considered, You should measure your performance and pay your staff based on a whole lot of these metrics. So if they've been tasked as a chatter with making as much money as possible, but they've done so at the expense of a super high chargeback ratio, a super low renew rate, relationships with big spenders ruined, they haven't actually offered you a net win there. They haven't actually provided that much value. You maybe want to reassess whether they're a good fit. So understanding how they are performing across all of these metrics and actually having a one-to-one with them to help them professionally develop is a big part of managing a team. We have all of our staff at TDM on board with the idea of developing them as individuals, becoming top draw men. We ensure that they're fit, healthy, active. We ensure that they're in shape and capable of being combat ready. We ensure that they're competent, good drivers, good with women, respectful, good communicators, good speakers, good leaders in their own right. We have an interest in the professional development of each of these people. We have them all on professional development programs within the business where they can actually progress, build out their own team, give us reasons to actually give them promotions. All of these things buy into their emotional investment into your business. You're buying their loyalty through your time. You're buying their emotional investment and therefore their motivation and discipline within the job by giving them time. All of these things come back to you as a leader if you put the time in initially. If you just hire them on the basis that you work for me, you get paid when you work hard, you should work hard because you need the money, they're going to be half-assed. They're going to do the bare minimum to get paid. They're likely going to continue to look for other opportunities. They will sell you out in a heartbeat because they don't feel the same investment from you that they could with somebody like us. Now, with all of this information, you could really end up wasting a heap of time in this business model if you are not taking into account these points. If you don't hire properly, then you will end up having to hire again and again and again. And this is just a time burden. This is a data risk. This is negatively impacting revenue. And it's all just an unnecessary mess for your business. If you hire fast, you'll hire twice. So when you're hiring, take into account what we've recommended here. Watch this video on the screen where Cameron details exactly how to hire your team. Watch this video and I guarantee you that you will hire efficiently. You'll have a good team and you won't have the burden of wasting time going through poor staff. Now at scale, most people that we've come across have chatting teams. So they hire a creator, let's call her Katie, and Katie has a team of 3 people or 2 people or 1 person. And that is, well, 1 person wouldn't do very well around the clock, but you get the gist. That is a chatting team for Katie, right? We don't think this is an efficient way of doing things. It's definitely much easier. You can plan ahead. It's much easier to structure, but we don't think that it's optimal. If you have a lot of creators on your roster, ultimately you want to be considering demand at all times. And where you have busier accounts, you should be able to move more resource there. Or where you have quieter accounts, you should be able to remove and reallocate that resource. What's the point in having 3 chatters on an account that only needs 1 right now? But equally, you're not performing at full capacity if you have 1 chatter on an account that needs 3 right now. This is the case for most people. If you have dating app traffic that turns off and on, or you have short form content that goes viral and falls off, which is natural, then there's going to be peaks and troughs in the demand, and therefore you should be allocating your resources to accommodate that. Now, this is a logistical nightmare if you don't have a good team. If there isn't good communication, you don't have good relationships, your team don't have good teamwork, the handovers aren't efficient, they aren't incentivized, then this can be a mess. You have to have a passionate team that actually care about the business, that are incentivized to do well, and that communicate well between themselves. We have a physical office. Our staff are UK-based physical chat team. So for us, it's a walk in the park, because they're sat in teams, communicating physically over a table. Managers are walking around observing account performance, how busy accounts are, where resources are, how we can reallocate. So for us, it's super, super easy to do this. If you have a team of virtual assistants that don't know each other and don't really like you, this would be a complete mess. So you need to have things right if you want to run the most efficient chatting operation. So with that considered, I hope that you have learnt a thing or two about how to structure your chatting operation. It's a complete logistical nightmare to scale an efficient chatting business. The ROI is possibly there if you're willing to invest the time. You have the people, you have the physical space and the resource. Alternatively, of course, if you don't have the time or the willingness to do that, there are chatting services like TDM available that can just offload the headache and take care of things in an efficient way for you. So the TDM chatting service will be linked in the description along with our free Telegram community. We'll hopefully see you in there.